Hello walkers, and welcome to Big Timber, Montana. It is June 18th, about 8:30 in the morning, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 11 degrees Celsius, and it's trying to rain on us. I'm sorry about that. Give us a like, a thumbs up, leave a comment, click that bell, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we're going to walk through Big Timber here. I mentioned it's trying to rain. Hopefully we will avoid most of that from the lens. A couple things. I try to promote some other channels on here. I try to remember to do that. And hi there. Morning. Good. How are you? And today I'm going to try and promote One Man, One Camera, who tours around Las Vegas. Does a great job over there. So check him out. And I also saw something recently on Johnny Strides, who's out of Toronto, and he sort of explained how he got started. So in a little bit I'm going to do that and tell you how I started this channel and why. But first I'm going to tell you a little bit about Big Timber, Montana, excuse me. Big Timber is right off of I-90, Interstate 90. Along the railroad tracks and the Yellowstone River. It's got a population of about 1,600 back in 2010, probably closer to, well, it's probably not that far off. Great little downtown here. They have some cool summer events like cowboy poetry and rodeos and fairs and that sort of thing. What else here? Across that red building, hotel, the Grand Hotel, is pretty well known for having a really good restaurant as well as hotel and bar. And then next to it is a bakery that my dad swears by. Something else I want to point out to you. It's a rural town. I think politically it's fairly conservative. There's a sign over there on the Farm Bureau that I'm going to get a better look at called Save the Cowboy, Stop the American Prairie Reserve. See that? And the American Prairie Reserve is an organization that has bought up and is currently buying up a lot of ranches in north central Montana to make it into a privately funded but publicly accessible park. And they want to bring bison back and wildlife and let it sort of revert back to its natural state. And there's a lot of pushback from ranchers on there, which we are not going to get into today, but I wanted to point it out. What else? Started around 1880, but Big Timber's named for Big Timber Creek. Big Timber, apparently, this is all from Wikipedia. Big Timber Creek was named for, or by, Lewis and Clark for the big cottonwood trees that were along there. It is a stop, or was a stop, along the Northern Pacific Railroad, and was and I think still is, a big wool producer and or center and cattle ranching. Excuse me. As I said, it's a cute little town, fun place to stop on your road trip if you need fuel out by the highway. Also at the end of Boulder River, which I'm not sure where Big Timber Creek is, and maybe that the Boulder River is what was once called Big Timber Creek, but it goes way up into the mountains, the Absaroka-Beartooth, beautiful valley. Up that way is Natural Bridge, which is this cool waterfall where the river goes underground for a little bit and then pops out. Yeah. Good, thanks. How are you today? Good. All right. Hopefully we're not getting too much water on the lens. I tried to make a little shelter for it out of tape above. We're going to cross over the highway here, and I meant to look up which one this was. See a sign. And we're going to go across the railroad tracks because my YouTube friend from Hermosa Beach, John W. Davis, check him out. He likes railroad stuff, and this is a railroad town. In fact, I just saw a freight train come barreling through about 10 minutes ago at 80 miles an hour, or however fast they go. There used to be passenger service out here many decades ago, but that's long since gone. You know, this is it's not a rich town, so there are elements that are a little run down, but I always find that to be part of the charm of Montana. It's not too glitzy, not too fancy, but it is real, so I enjoy that. Hope you do too. If we follow this road down, we're headed I always get my directions mixed up. We're headed kind of northwest, and we're gonna, if we follow this road down, we would end up at the fairgrounds about a mile away. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna cross the railroad tracks here and make a right. And then also in this direction is the Yellowstone River. It's about, I don't know, well, it's not too far beyond those trees there. Sorry for the wind noise. Trying to shelter you a little bit. The river is kind of in flood. It's in Livingston. It was at 13,000 CFS, cubic feet per second, which without a baseline you don't really know. So in the summer, I don't usually float it until it's down around 10,000. It was up at its peak this year at 30,000. So it's about halfway between. Here's some railroad tracks. I'm not gonna. Off to the west here are the Crazy Mountains. I don't know if you can see them. They're kind of covered up in clouds. Gotten a lot of snow the last couple days up high. It's I mentioned it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of breezy, but not too bad. And then we're going to come down here, and off there's a grain silo, a big tall building there. We're going to walk past that. I mentioned that I wanted to share, because I thought it was interesting to hear somebody else's story. I thought maybe you guys might find it interesting to hear mine. How I started this channel. So back in 2016, my family and I sold our house and our car and a lot of our stuff and went and traveled around Europe for a year. And we spent about a month in several countries, about 12 countries, and a few little side trips into others. And as part of that, my wife is a travel writer and blogger. You can find her under Traveling Mel. She was kind enough to do several walks this winter and for us in spring in California, most recently in Nevada. In any case, I was making YouTube videos for our family travels. You can find those under our Traveling Mel channel, which is linked below in the description. And as part of that, I really enjoy going out and just walking around cities, and I thought, well, maybe I will film those, and who knows, maybe people will be interested. And I didn't get around to it because doing the Traveling Mel stuff took a lot of time. And traveling, until I guess we started in October, and then I didn't start filming until Edinburgh, which was, I believe, in March, late March, early April. And so that was my first one. And since then, one of my most popular ones, which is great. I did that with an iPhone and a land part gimbal, an iPhone 6, and a little wide angle adapter for the lens that I didn't have on quite straight, so it's blurry on one side a little bit. But I started up at dawn at Calton Hill and walked around the city and did a little talking as I went. And since then, I have evolved from a GoPro session, and all that was at 1080 or regular HD, and now I've grown up. At one point, I wanted a wide-angle lens, and so I was using a Sony A7S with a microphone on it and a full-size gimbal, and it was quite the rig. Now I film on a DJI Osmo Pocket sometimes, and right now I'm filming on a GoPro 8 Hero Black. Hey pup! I'm doing what we call a Montana dog walk, where you drive and the dog runs. Pretty common out here. Where was I? Oh yeah, so that's kind of where I am. For a long time, I only did I did a fair number, but I didn't really get cranking on these videos. At first I was doing one a week, and then this summer, past summer, I started trying to go to 2 a week and then 3 a week. And since the pandemic, I haven't been able to travel as much, and so I'm back down to 2. And I would love to go back up, but it's a matter of having opportunities to film. So that's my story. Hope you found that interesting. If you have any questions about that or about the gear I use, I'm more than happy to share. I did it for a while. I was doing 360 walks, which were really interesting. I enjoyed doing those. It takes a lot of computer power to do those really well. I think I'd like to get another 360 camera. Mine broke in February when it blew over in Vienna and cracked on the street. And do some more of those. I think the cameras have come a long way, especially with their stabilization. But I really enjoy doing those. I did some in Central America at some Mayan ruins in Guatemala and Honduras. And one in Belize. I did a couple this summer in Switzerland and Tallinn, or this past summer. I guess it's pretty close to summer right now. Anyway, here's this kind of cool old railroad storage building. Looks like maybe it's being used for self-storage, maybe, or maybe not at all. Pardon me. We're going to walk down here to see the river, and then we're going to peel back to our right, or east-ish, and walk through some residential areas. I've got some really cute old houses back in there, and then we'll maybe end up around the city park where there's a nice playground called Pompey's Pillar. I want to thank everybody who replied when I asked your preferences in terms of talking and not talking. I'd love to be able to please everybody, but it seems like the consensus has been you enjoy the talking for the most part. And honestly, I enjoyed talking and showing people these things. I enjoy getting corrected occasionally when I make mistakes, although I probably make way more mistakes than I'm corrected for. I had a real hard time this past winter with some of the Hungarian and Slovak pronunciations of places. Oh, there's a killdeer. Going to lead us away from its nest. Some mallards poking around in the puddles. We're going to go right over here to this ledge and just take a quick peek at the Yellowstone River. A lot of birds over here, red-winged blackbird, Eurasian collared dove. These river valleys have a lot of critters that they support. Used to be forests of cottonwood along them. A lot of those were cut down for fuel. It's not a great fuel nor a great building product or supply, if I recall correctly. Here's a Yellowstone. This channel is just a back channel. Main flow out there. You can see it's pretty muddy. Usually it's a deeper blue or gray and a lot cleaner, but the meltwater is coming down, rainwater as well, and so it's swollen up a little bit. Beautiful, beautiful river. I wish you could convey the smell of this. It's this really sweet, strong, sweet smell of the cottonwoods and the willows. It's really nice. In any case, we are going to head back here. I didn't mention the name of the street where all the downtown was, which is called McLeod Street. I believe it's McCleod. Protect that microphone a bit. How are we doing on raindrops? Not too bad. We're gonna, I think technically we can trespass here, but I bet they'll forgive us. Now we're gonna go down here and cross. Not sure what kind of train cars these are, but if you know, let me know in the description. Walking into the wind here, which means we're walking into this light drizzle. So I'll check the lens here in a minute. We're going to make a left on what I think is Bramble Street, but I'll have to check the signs here. Could be Harris, maybe. Yep, couple little drops, sorry about that. I think we're clear now. So we're coming up on the main thoroughfare here for traffic, not the downtown area, but perpendicular to the downtown McLeod Street. It's called First Avenue here, but it's really Highway 191. And that'll take you up to Judith Gap and Harlowtown and beyond. Eventually up to, I believe, Lewistown, sorry. Which is one of the places I'd like to do a quick walk through. Not a quick, but a nice walk through. It's another great Montana prairie town. Oh, we're way further over. This is Busha, B-U-S-H-A Street. We're way further over than I thought. But that's cool because we get to show you this neat antique store, junk store. Got a lot of cool stuff out. Always like checking out what they have out when we drive through here. Called Country Crossroads, Antique and Gifts. Definitely worth a view if you're here. Here's Bramble. We're gonna cross over. People are super nice here, like most small towns. Another quick swipe. There, if you need to stay here, there is the Grand Hotel downtown, which I believe still rents rooms, and I think there's a Super 8 or something hotel out by the highway. There's also at least one campground. And then there's a lot of public land out here in the US, at least out west on the BLM. You can generally camp wherever for 14 days without paying a fee. And there's certain small limited areas where there are some restrictions, but generally speaking, BLM and National Forest land, you can camp for free, which is one of the reasons I love our public lands in Montana and in the US, and why it's so important to maintain and defend those. There have been movements in the last several years, 10 years, 20 years, by large, rich landowners coming in, buying ranches and trying to keep everybody off of them, and off of the waterways and off of public lands that they abut. And that's a political battle that's continuing. You can probably imagine where I stand on it. So there's I don't know if you can see this license plate, but there's a 40 on it. In Park County we have a 49. In Gallatin County there's a 6 for non-customized plates. And that comes, there's 53 counties in Montana. My oldest would correct me on that. And when they were set up, from what I understand, it was based on population at the time. And there are anecdotes, stories, myths about poker games and swapping numbers based on your winnings and gambling away certain numbers. I'm not sure those are actually true, but they're fun to tell people. As I mentioned, we're on Bramble Street, and then these cross streets are numbered. So we started on First. I believe this is Fourth coming up. Is that right? Yeah, that's about right. My eyes are going, but yeah, it looks like 4th Avenue. And we're going to cut over a block or two. One of the things I like about this town is all these old trees that they have. It makes such a difference in an urban environment, even one as small as this, to have these big trees. Talked about how I started this channel and what led to it and why, and a couple of other additions to that. It took me for about a year, and I was sort of dawdling, I'd post something every once in a while, try to do once a week, but not always. And then YouTube changed their rules around monetization, so you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewed content. So January 2019, I was at like 700 or 800. This is, I'd been doing it for a couple years, year and a half. And so I kind of dug in, got to 1,000 subscribers that January, mid-January. And now we're at 12,000 plus. So I think, well, first of all, thanks guys. That's awesome. I love this house. But it really encouraged me to do more of this and treat it more seriously, which has been actually a lot of fun and gotten me a lot of exercise. They say walking is probably some of the best exercise you can do because it's low impact, it's easy, you don't have to be an athlete to walk. You can just go out your door. At least you used to be able to. The currently situation, a lot of people are walking at home, which is encouraging. Going to make a left on Anderson. This is the United Church of Christ on the other side. There. So I think we're coming up on the local school. Big Timber grade school. And I don't know if they have their own high school or if they go somewhere else. Did I mention this is the county seat of Sweetgrass County? Hence the 40 on the license plate. I think I probably did not. Perhaps sometimes they divide a building up into two, so maybe high school's on the other side. You know, some of these rural towns aren't big enough to really maintain a full-time school, and some of them, you know, the surrounding ranches could be excuse me, an hour and a half away on dirt roads. And so they have to make accommodations. A lot of times families will rent a place in town during the week and then head back out to the ranch. At least the one parent and kids will do that. Used to be they'd have boarding houses for the kids back when an hour and a half was actually 4 or 5 hours. Oh, this is a cute house. Coming up on 6th Street. I'm gonna make a right out to, no we're not. We're gonna keep straight. Another couple blocks. We'll see the park, then we'll loop back towards downtown through, see some nice old stone buildings. I don't know if you can hear that bird. I think it's a warbler. Yellow warbler, maybe. Cute little house over there. You know, these towns, Montana towns, you get a lot of variety of houses. That's a pretty little house, well maintained. Another one across the street, similar. And then across the street is this other one, which is not so much. Awesome lot, but fences are falling down. Old sheds, roof needs repair, that kind of fun stuff. It's kind of interesting. This old trailer has a combine scythe or rake, I guess, up in there. This looks like maybe an old manure spreader, or maybe it's just a grain, probably just a grain bin. There's like a Archimedes screw type thing there to move the grain. I think I said that right. Here's the city park. There's a baseball field to the left. there. And then over there in the blue is, straight ahead, is a basketball court. And then the fenced off area is some more blue, which is tennis courts, a little picnic area. And then it's kind of neat playground. Super fun. Great place for a picnic if you're traveling through. Just come in through downtown, let the kids play. You got some tables, some benches, burn off some energy. It's called the Thousand Hands Playground, probably because it was built by volunteers. This is what they did in Livingston. Oh, and they have a pool too. I forgot about that. Looks like it's open. Not sure I would be personally swimming at 50 degrees, 52 degrees. I think you can hear the highway sounds over there. Mowing. All right, we're going to go back out here to, I believe it's McLeod and 8th. And here's one of these old stone buildings, I assume. This is probably a Lions Club Park. It is Lions Club Park, Big Timber, Montana. Another stone house. Pardon me. Oh yeah, that was what I was gonna say. One of the most common comments from my first video in Edinburgh was to blow my nose. I had the sniffles and I didn't have a kerchief or a napkin or a tissue, so I kept sniffing like that, and understandably people found it a little bit annoying. So now I always try to carry one. Lesson learned sometimes. There's another great old house. Not stone, but still pretty. I'm going to pop out here into the road to show you all these great overhanging trees. It's kind of idyllic. It's another pretty house. Old stone house for sale, if anybody's interested. Corner of McLeod and 6th in Big Timber, listed by Sunny Todd Real Estate. I did a video for them a couple years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Nice guys. I think they sell primarily ranches. It's a pretty one. Looks like honeysuckle maybe, or not sure what kind of plants those are. I see channels like Action Kid in New York filming people, and there's another guy, Thomas Bukowski, who just does these. They're all kind of tilted and filming people up close, and people don't say anything. I'm always a little surprised that I don't have people telling me not to film them or getting upset, but I think most people don't really mind, and they're more curious than anything. Definitely had a lot of people wave and give a shout out the window, and friendly, or at least just getting attention for themselves, or asking occasionally, only a couple times really, that I've had people ask what I'm filming for. And I thought about getting a t-shirt or a hat that says, you know, filming for City Walks or something like that, but I haven't followed through on that yet. Big horse trailer, stock trailer. I'm still hoping to do a live stream sometime soon. I'm sort of behind. I've got a couple other client projects going, and then just general life events going on. Still hoping to do a live stream here at some point. I don't have that very generous Verizon 15 gigabyte anymore, that has expired, but still might do it anyway. And so I'll try to announce that ahead of time, which requires me to do some planning. And my audio recording just ran out, so I think I'm going to call it here. I'm now recording on the GoPro, and we're back to downtown anyway, so it's a little fortuitous. Thank you guys for joining me on this. Leave a thumbs up, comment, all that fun stuff, and we will see you next time from Big Timber, Montana.